And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of KMA's Thursday Night Thunder, brought to you by KMA Racing, KMA TV, and RTK Motorsports. We are here at Daytona International Speedway. Fellas are out there on the track, getting their laps in for qualifying. We should have qualifying results here shortly. We are at Daytona Beach International Speedway. Track length tonight, just like every other night, 2.479 miles. Track temperature is at 75.79 degrees. And it looks like our qualifying is done. The track is at Yellow State. That will put us getting ready to grid up. It looks like our field is starting to line up. We get the qualifying order up there. Like out there on the front row tonight, it's going to be Lee Staples in the number 64 with a lap time of 49.001, lining up outside. First row will be his teammate Edward Bray in the number 66 with the 49.004. Lining up third tonight will be Everett Lane in the number 24. Lining up outside Everett Lane will be Gary Whitmer Jr. in the number 5. Rolling off fifth will be John Rogers in the number 28 car. Very used to seeing John in the 22. Tonight he'll be in the 28 car. Outside of John Rogers in the third row, rolling off in the sixth position will be Jason Eisenhower in the number 36. Rolling off seventh will be Chris Hogue in the number 6 RTK Motorsports car. Big shout out to Chris Hogue. Rolling off 8th will be Richard Brose in the 07 car. Good to see Richard Brose back out here again. Rolling off 9th will be Garrett Potts in the number 40 car. And rounding out our top 10 will be Danny Rudy in the number 16th, rolling off 10th. Rolling off 11th will be John Hammer. Rolling off 13th will be Gary Champion. 14 will be Victor Buzik. Fifteenth will be Dave Acacia. Rolling off 16th in the 01 will be Dave Oliveri. Rolling off 17th in the number 19 will be Wade Lamar. Rolling off 18th will be Lonnie Baldwin. 19th, Steven Brzozowski. 20th will be Mitch Walter. Rolling off 23rd will be Gary Whitmer Jr. 24th will be Dale Gravel. 25th will be Jimmy Tolliver. Larry Langford will be rolling off 26th. Gloria Lamar will be rolling off 27th. I will not be starting the race tonight, so rolling off 30th will be Jason D. Lang. 31st will be Kevin Scott Nelson. 32nd, Dakota Craig. 33rd, Joel Guy. 34th, Alan Botello. 35th, Scott Gaskill. 36th, James Rogozinski. 37th, Jack McCarthy. 38th, Mark Best. That rounds out your qualifying order. With some issues in that qualifying order, and the pace car is ducked off. We are under green flag. The race is underway, and Lee Staples is leading the inside lane. Edward Bray leading that outside lane. As these cars start to get up to speed, you'll notice many of the cars very close together trying to get that draft. Looks like the number 66 of Edward Bray has worked his way around the number 64 of Lee Staples. Those two are teammates. That may have been a planned move. As we sit up on top of Lee Staples' car, he is following in the steps of the number 66 in front of him. Spin the camera around, we see Everett Fastlane making a move to the outside with the help of Gary Whitmer Jr. Gary Whitmer Jr. getting to the back bumper of the number 24 car. Some serious side drafting going on there momentarily. As Edward Bray tries to continue to lead, Everett Lane making a move to the outside with the help of Gary Whitmer Jr. Most of these cars staying in the pack, as we have one car dropping below the yellow line there. Outside lane losing momentum. Edward Bray continuing to lead down on that inside lane, getting a little bit squirrely. That will most certainly give the outside lane a chance. Number 24 and the 5 have a good run going to the outside. Slight separation between the 66 and the 64 now. It gives that outside lane with Everett Lane and Gary Whitmer Jr. a chance to push the number 24 up to the front of this field. And it does happen. And as we are sitting here watching this, looks like the number 36 might have gotten just a bit of a little tire rub on the side of that car there. Getting a little wiggly. Number 36, Jason Eisenhower, getting a little bit wiggly, but keeping it under control. We stay green with no issues. That outside lane now starting to fall back as we pan back around and look at our lead two cars. Everett Lane now down in front of Edward Bray. Edward Bray doing the pushing. As we spin back around, take a look behind us. Looks like the 28 of John Rogers has jumped up into that outside lane. Oh, the number 16 forcing his way up. May not have been clear there. Gary Whitmer Jr. having to get out of it. As we sit on the rooftop of Danny Rudy, currently being shown in the 5th position. Gary Whitmer Jr. being shown in the 6th position. As we ride around with Gary Whitmer Jr. The outside lane trying to get a run on these inside lane. Danny Rudy's gotten to the back bumper of the number 28. Gary Whitmer Jr. going just a bit high through turns 3 and 4 here. Gets a really good run off the corner, has to lift slightly. Danny Rudy's sliding up a little bit in the tri-oval as we look behind Gary Whitmer Jr. And we'll actually take a jump back through some of these other cars. Riding along with Gary Whitmer Sr. in the number 52 car. Gary Whitmer Sr. being shown in the number 7 position. Danny Rudy stuck on the outside lane. We are 3 wide going through turns 3 and 4. Wisely, the cars in the middle lane coming down and allowing Danny Rudy to come back down. 52 has gotten down on that yellow line, gotten just a little bit sideways, managed to keep it straight. Gary Whitmer Sr. with a big run coming up to the back of the number 5. We see a little bit of wiggly squiggly between the number 52 and the 28 as the 28 starting to march on by. Joel Guy sitting right behind Gary Whitmer Sr. You see Danny Rudy on the outside lane. Jump back a little further in this field. We're going to jump back towards the back and look forward. You're riding along with Mitch Walter. Mitch Walter being shown in 14th position. We'll bring up that running order. Edward Lane out front. Sorry, not Edward Lane. Everett Lane, sorry. Edward Bray being shown in 2nd. Gary Whitmer Jr. being shown in 3rd. Lee Staples. John Rogers, Gary Whitmer Sr. Joel Guy, Danny Rudy. Jason Eisenhower. Garrett Potts. Richard Brose, David Casey, Kevin Scott Nelson, and Mitch Walter. Mitch Walter having to get out of the throttle there. That is definitely going to put him in danger of losing the draft as a car up in front of us gets loose. Once again, I believe it was the number 52 car. 52 car keeps it straight, but that puts a slight break in the pack. Get back to the outside. We've got Garrett Potts. Spin that camera around. We see David Casey in the Ritz car right behind Garrett Potts. Garrett Potts dropping down to that inside lane. Garrett Potts now on the back of the number 52, going to try to push the 52 back up to this lead car draft. Boys are weaving around like they're trying to get through traffic cones. The number 52 takes her down on the yellow line. Garrett Potts deciding he may want to go high, not sure. Gary Whitmer Sr. down on that yellow line again. Dangerous place to be as we spin the camera around. Watching the number 52. 52 fading just a little bit now. David Casey on the back bumper of Garrett Potts. Second group needs to get organized and get back up to this pack. As we see this five-car breakaway, then we've got about another 6 cars, maybe 6 cars in the second pack, and then another 2 cars a little further back. Jason Eisenhower and Mitch Walter hooking up, but they are falling behind. They're 3.4 seconds back off the lead. They've lost the draft. They will need to work very hard to get back up to that draft. Some of these cars in that second pack have now caught the first pack. It is now a 8-car pack up front with 3 cars just slightly behind in that second pack. Gary Whitmer Jr. making a move to the outside of Everett Lane and Edward Bray with the help of John Rogers. Lee Staples down on the inside lane behind his teammate Edward Bray. Garrett Potts working his way up to the back of John Rogers. David Casey is working that inside lane with his teammate Kevin Scott Nelson behind 64 Lee Staples. We are on lap 16 of 100. Big shout out there to Hyperset Live, Becky Whitmer, and Chris Hogue for tuning in to that KMA TV. Sorry to hear you were unable to make the race tonight, Chris. Would have loved to see you out there. Watch these cars bouncing around up front here. Gary Whitmer Jr. has just taken that number 1 position away from Everett Lane. John Rogers working to the outside. Everett Lane coming up just a little bit. Time to take you through the field, folks. We jump up to our leader, Gary Whitmer Jr., currently in the first position out there on the track after just 18 laps, is our current leader. Led 1 lap so far. As we jump back through the field, we're looking at that number 5 car. Let's talk about that paint job real quick. Gary Whitmer out there in the KMA TV, KMA Racing Gearhead Paint Shop, number 5. Sporting the purple rims and supportive pad. Jumping back 1 position now. The number 24 car of Everett Lane, showing off his love for the flame paint job. Currently led 11 of the 19 laps. Jumping back 1 more position, we jump to the car of Edward Bray in the number 66, who has led 5 laps so far. Continue moving rearward. Lee Staples in the CAD Staples LA Graphics number 64. Lee Staples, of course, a teammate to the number 66, the Reaper himself, in the car just in front of him, part of Black Talon Racing. Coming up on his outside, we've got the number 28 car of John Rogers. John Rogers also sporting the flame paint job. No sponsors on the car. Jumping back one more position, we've got Dave Acacia. Started out 15th. He's currently up to 6th, sporting the Oreo, Ritz, Nabisco, and various other snacks from Kraft and Company. I believe I spoke with David Casey once about that paint job, and that is a paint job that came from a Matt Kenseth collection. David Casey being a fan of Matt Kenseth. Now as we jump up to Garrett Potts, he started in the 9th position. Oh, as we see the number 64 getting sideways, he has saved it, but that has really slowed the back of this field down. No caution out. The number 64 of Lee Staples all the way down to 182 miles per hour. Kevin Scott Nelson sticking with him, probably going to try to push him up to this pack, as we'll have to pan out, maybe go into blimp mode to see, as we see Lee Staples currently behind Joel Guy, making a run up to Joel Guy. They're going to probably pick Joel Guy up. They are currently 2.6 seconds back from the leader. They are going to have to go in a hurry if they want to catch this lead pack. Just in front of Lee Staples, we have the car of Joel Guy in the City Chevrolet. Just in front of Joel Guy, we've got the car of Gary Whitmer Sr. in the number 52. Gary Whitmer Sr. being shown 3 seconds back from the leader. These guys will have to get it very tight and keep it very tight if they expect to catch up to that lead pack. 64 dropping down. Oh no, we are going to have a caution. We had the cameras right on that. Let's go ahead and back that up. Gonna have to back it up just a little bit further. We'll start right there. We'll get rid of the stuff on there, and we will go down on top of that car. See what happened here. Number 52 possibly getting turned from behind, may have checked up in front of Joel Guy. We'll back down to that car again. We'll back it up one more time. We'll spin the camera around. Oh, unfortunately, Joel Guy getting underneath. 52 may have checked up just a little bit. Joel Guy getting into the back of the 52. That will send the number 52 probably into pit road for repairs, as we are alive with the number 52. 52 will be coming into pit road. As we were closing in on our green flag pit stops, we were only about 3 to 5 laps away from green flag pit stops. This will take that pit stop out of the equation, as Gary Whitmer Sr., as we can see, the damage is repaired on his car. He is out and away. No harm, no foul. Take a moment while we have a minute to check in with our leader. Our leader being scored as Gary Whitmer Jr. Go ahead and see if we can get a chat in with Gary Whitmer Jr. real quick. Gary Whitmer Jr., this is Ron Klein up in the booth. You got a copy?
How you doing, Ronald?
I'm doing very well, sir. Looks like things going pretty well for you tonight. Been up front pretty much the majority of the first part of this race. Did see one issue that could have turned catastrophic. Looked like a car came up, wasn't clear of you. Looked like you swerved to the outside, possibly let up. And here you are leading with 26 of 100 in the books.
Yeah, just trying to stay up front, keep it clean and cool at the same time.
Copy that. Now, you guys are running an open setup. Do you feel that there's an advantage to the open setup versus the usual fixed setup that we used to run?
Yeah, you get a lot more adjustments with the car. As the track changes, you can change up some things to fit the track.
Copy that. I haven't been racing with you guys since we've gone to open sets. So I do understand what you're saying, because I do run open set on other nights when I don't broadcast, but kind of interesting to hear that, and I'm kind of interested to possibly climb into one of these cars some night and see what it's like to run. Of course, we do have Daytona coming up in our season racing that we have on Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays, so there will be that opportunity to get that opportunity on Monday and Friday when we do run open sets.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. The last 2 weeks of racing in the season.
Well, while we've got you here, let's talk real quick. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, you told me about your Monday night endeavor. You are unable to race with us anymore on Monday nights because you're doing some schooling for work, correct?
Yeah, taking air conditioned refrigeration, and that's on it's 14 weeks. It's on Monday nights.
Well, you were a top 10 contender on Monday night, and of course you do run with RTK Motorsports. So we really hate to see that happening, because we're looking to have at least 3, if not 4 cars in the top 10 at the season's end. So hate to lose you there, but Tuesday night and Friday night you're still going to be able to be running with us. So looking forward to running with you here at Daytona. Hoping for those races that we can actually use each other as teammates to work together and have a good race and get a good finish.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, is to work together and get a good finish out of it.
Copy that. Looks like the lights are on the pace car. Lights are out on the pace car already. Geez, didn't even seem like we talked that long. I better let you go and get back to racing. Continue doing what you're doing, bud. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you here at the end.
All right, thanks, Ron.
Alrighty, folks. Gary Whitmer Jr. out there leading the field after a brief caution on lap 25. Actually, I believe it was actually on 24. Looking at the rear of the field, waiting for them to get all caught up. They need to do it in a hurry, or they are going to lose the draft immediately, as we see them now starting to catch up. Waiting for them to tighten up. We are about to go green as we turn the cameras back around. We'll wait for that pace car to come off. Gary Whitmer Jr. is in control of the race. He goes. Everett Lane on that outside lane, trying to give Gary Whitmer Jr. a run for his money. Gary Whitmer Jr. getting ahead just a little bit with the help of the number 66 as we spin around. We've got John Rogers pushing on the number 24 car with a lane change by Garrett Potts, moving from the inside lane to the outside lane. Swing the cameras back down and around. Gary Whitmer Jr. edging ahead just a little bit of the number 60, or excuse me, the 24 car, as we are now riding with Gary Whitmer Jr. spinning it around, and we look at Everett Lane on the outside lane, trying to get a side draft off of the number 5 and the 66 car. Going to get a run on that outside lane as they come down the backstretch. Everett Lane being pushed on by John Rogers as we enter turns 3 and 4. Edward Bray continuing to push on the number 5, keeping him out front. Gary Whitmer Sr. and Joel Guy, we can see them towards the rear of the field there. They were not tucked up real tight to the field as we took off. Hopefully they can get up to those cars. So after 31 laps, Gary Whitmer Jr. is your leader, followed by Edward Bray, Everett Lane, Lee Staples, John Rogers, Garrett Potts, Dave Acacia, Kevin Nelson, Danny Rudy, Mitch Walter, Jason Eisenhower, Gary Whitmer Sr., and Joel Guy. Gary Whitmer Jr. and Gary Whitmer Sr. and Joel Guy slightly off of this pack just by a little bit. As we watch the field accordion around, Gary Whitmer Jr. still continuing to lead with the help of Edward Bray. We are going to take a quick break and bring you a commercial by Pro Automotive. Alrighty, welcome back, race fans. Not a lot has changed. Gary Whitmer Jr. is still out there leading. Everett Lane in that outside lane with the help of John Rogers trying to work his way around the number 5 car. They have a pretty good run going into turn 1 and 2. Everett Lane looks like he has cleared the number 5 car of Gary Whitmer Jr. That will put Everett Lane out in front. John Rogers on the outside lane with Garrett Potts pushing as hard as he possibly can. Garrett Potts in a bad position right now, has no help behind him. He pushes that 28 car to the front. He will be the lone man on the outside. Take a ride. This is what we're seeing from the back of the number 24 car. Going to see that number 66 creep on up to the back bumper. '66 going high with Lee Staples. Garrett Potts going low. I believe that's Danny Rudy coming up to the back bumper of. Here comes a bump. How about that for in your face? As we're looking forward from there's a bump. Riding along with Gary Whitmer Jr. Gary Whitmer Jr. continuing to push that outside or that inside lane as the number 24 goes up high, latches on to the 66 and the 64. Danny Rudy on the back bumper of the number 5 car. Edward Bray pushing the number 24 clear of Gary Whitmer Jr. Attempted to come down as well. Not quite sure if he didn't think he was clear or not. You can hear Gary Whitmer Jr. just slightly let off. That's going to give a big run to that outside lane. Gary Whitmer Jr. getting to the back bumper of the number 24 car. 64 clear, the 66 will clear. They will both go down. Unfortunately, that puts Garrett Potts out there all by himself in that outside lane. Garrett Potts going to continue to fall back until he has a partner that will help him. And as of right now, Garrett Potts not looking like he has any friends out there at all. Jump back to Garrett Potts. Garrett Potts found himself a place to jump into line as we spin the camera back around. Jumped in behind the car, the number 28 car of John Rogers. Now Danny Rudy on the outside in the number 16. He's going to find his way down behind John Rogers as we go single file. After 40 laps of 100, Garrett Potts with the run wants to give a shove to Danny Rudy. They weren't quite lined up, had to let up. Good thing they did, or we would have been wrecking. Danny Rudy going just a bit high. Garrett Potts with a big run has to let up. Garrett Potts with another run, says he's not going to let up this time. He's going to take it to the outside. Danny Rudy coming up just a little bit. We spin the camera around. We got Garrett Potts up there in that high line all by himself. However, here comes the help from Dave Acacia and Kevin Scott Nelson. Gary Whitmer Jr., Everett Lane making their way to the outside lane, going to try to pass the 64 and the 66 as we look down on that inside lane. The 64 and the 66 have no help. There's the 28 slowly starting to make his way back up to the 66 and the 64. Field still slightly spread out. We have Gary Whitmer Sr., Joel Guy, and Mitch Walter about 1.5 seconds back off the lead pack here. They do not want to lose much more time than that, or they will lose this draft. Garrett Potts in that outside lane. Going to help the number 5 of Gary Whitmer Jr. try to get up in front of that number 24 car. Gary Whitmer Jr., Joel Guy, Mitch Walter now just 1.3 seconds back. They are starting to catch that lead pack that will keep them in the draft and keep them on the lead lap. We have now completed 45 laps. Gary Whitmer Jr. trying to make a move on that outside with the help of Garrett Potts. Everett Lane down on the inside with the help of Edward Bray. Edward Bray's teammate Lee Staples, number 64, is third in line on that inside line. We watch Everett Lane continuing to lead With the help of Edward Bray, Gary Whitmer Jr. out on that outside lane with Garrett Potts. Gary Whitmer Jr. losing a little bit of real estate to the 24. 40 gets hooked up with the 5 and starts to push him back forward. Big bump by the number 66. Pushing on the 24, trying to keep that 24 up in front. Number 40 coming up on the rear bumper of the number 5, trying to get him up front. Both of those cars, the 66 and the 40, will be running warm when you're trying to push like this for an extended period of time. Going to jump back a little bit in our field. We're going to focus the camera on the number 36 car belonging to Jason Eisenhower. Jason Eisenhower is leading the second pack of cars at 1.3 seconds back. Then he has Dave Acacia, Kevin Scott Nelson, and Gary Whitmer Sr. behind him. Unfortunately, it looks like Joel Guy and Mitch Walter have lost the draft. Joel Guy is now 5.9 seconds back from the leader. Not sure exactly what happened there. Dave Acacia getting up on the bumper of the number 36, trying to push him up back to this front pack. Number 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. trying to stay latched on to the 224. I tell you folks, hardest thing to do is to be the last car on the draft. You have to drive very aggressively. You have to stay up on the rear bumper of the car in front of you. If you lose the bumper, you can lose the draft in a hurry. So Gary Whitmer Sr.'s got his work cut out for him. As we see him starting to lose just a little bit of time to the front 3 cars. Not a great position to be in. He needs to, he's gonna need a little bit of help from the 224. He can manage to hang on for just a little bit longer. They are about to catch this front pack. If they catch that front pack, it'll be much easier for him to stay with this entire group of cars. Jason Eisenhower, with the help of Dave Acacia, Kevin Scott Nelson, and Gary Whitmer Sr. have caught this pack. Now, Gary Whitmer Sr. is the last car in this pack. He has caught up to the rear bumper of the 224. Well, not quite yet, but he is right there. He will need to stay up on that bumper in order not to lose the draft. Jump back up to our leaders and see what's going on up front. Things have changed a little bit. Everett Lane, with the help of Edward Bray, still out front, but Gary Whitmer Jr. no longer a threat on that outside lane. No one really working with him. He has fallen back to the 6th position. Will more than likely tuck in at some point here shortly, because green flag pit stops will be coming. We pitted around lap 25. That puts us very close to our pit window here, as we see the number 24 leading that charge. All the cars are down on the inside lane, more than likely preparing for green flag pit stops within a lap or two. As we ride on top of the car of Everett Lane, ride along on top of his car, and we'll know and see who ducks off into pit road. No takers this lap. Oh, and that's going to cost someone at the back of the pack. Not sure who that was. May have been Gary Whitmer Sr. May have thought that they were ducking off the pit road that lap, unfortunately losing some time. No takers on this lap either. Gary Whitmer Sr. able to get right back to the rear bumper of the 224. As we see one lonesome car coming down pit road by himself in a smoking tires. That would be the car of Danny Rudy. Danny Rudy down pit road. Gary Whitmer Jr. falling off the pace just a little bit there. So Danny Rudy has gone for his pit stop, but no one went with him. That will definitely cost time for Danny Rudy. And here we go. Here come most of the leaders as we watch rearward. Everybody seemingly getting it down under pit road speed. I'm going to swing the camera back around now that we're on pit road. Watch Everett Lane bring it into his pit stall. Everett Lane taking right side tires. Taking fuel, waiting for fuel, and away he goes. Everett Lane getting off pit road first. Looks like Lee Staples, John Rogers, Edward Bray, Gary Whitmer Jr., Garrett Potts, Gary Whitmer Sr., Jason Eisenhower. This will spread the field out as we see a big break in all of these cars. We have a car getting sideways back there. I believe that may have been the number 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. Gary Whitmer Sr. getting sideways coming off a pit road. What an unfortunate incident for him as he brings it up to speed, and he'll have to bring it up on the back stretch. Oh no, Gary is getting sideways. He does save it. He'll have to get it going. Jump back to our leaders. Looks as though John Rogers has made his way around Everett Lane, but Dave Acacia still being shown as our leader, or being shown as our leader. All right, time to bring up that running order. You got John Rogers leading the race. Go into our blimp mode here. John Rogers is leading the race. Everett Lane is in second place. Lee Staples is in third. David Casey fourth. Kevin Scott Nelson fifth. Garrett Potts is in sixth. Gary Whitmer Jr. seventh. Jason Eisenhower eighth. Danny Rudy ninth. Joel Guy in 10th. Mitch Walter being shown in the 11th position. Gary Whitmer Sr. being shown 1 lap down. I'm seeing Edward Bray 2 laps down. Let's see if we can find Gary Whitmer or Edward Bray on the track or in pit road and see what is going on. I am not seeing Edward Bray. Not sure what happened with Edward Bray, but Edward Bray no longer out on the racetrack. Quite a shakeup after these green flag pit stops. John Rogers out there leading the way. He has Lee Staples, Dave Acacia, Kevin Scott Nelson, and Everett Lane all with him. Garrett Potts and Gary Whitmer Jr. are 4.4 seconds back. Then Jason Eisenhower is 15 seconds back. Danny Rudy 20 seconds back. Mitch Walter 32 seconds back, along with Joel Guy. Gary Whitmer Sr. being shown 1 lap down. As we take a walk through the field, we are looking at our leader, the number 28 car of John Rogers. Lee Staples currently second. David Casey currently third. The 224, Kevin Scott Nelson, is currently in the 4th position. Something has happened with Everett Lane. Everett Lane falling back. Or Everett Lane may have fallen back intentionally. Not sure. Maybe he's going to be working with... Looks like he may have fallen back intentionally to pick up this 2-car group of Garrett Potts and Gary Whitmer Jr. They are currently 3.8 seconds back from the leader, or from the lead group. Interesting situation developing here. We fall back to the 8th place position. Jason Eisenhower, currently 17 seconds back, has the number 52 car of Gary Whitmer Sr. with him, unfortunately 1 lap down. And we fall back to Danny Rudy. He is currently in the 9th position, running all by himself, 24 seconds back, running at a speed of 182 miles per hour. Then we fall back to the 10th place position. Mitch Walter has the number 91 car of Joel Guy to help him along. Joel Guy being shown in 11th position, 31 seconds back from the leader. That takes us back to our current race leader. There is a lead change. David Casey now your leader, followed by the 224 of Kevin Scott Nelson. Then it's John Rogers and Lee Staples. Interesting development. Now as we jump back, we see Garrett Potts is now just 0.8 seconds back from the lead. So everything that was going on up front and Everett Lane dropping back to help this 2-car pack become a 3-car pack and bring everybody up forward, that is exactly what has happened. We now have a 7-car group here up front. Everett Lane helping the 40 of Garrett Potts and the number 5 of Gary Whitmer Jr. make their way up towards the front of this pack as Garrett Potts takes it to the outside. Gary Whitmer Jr. goes with him, Everett Lane following as well. Garrett Potts taking it and wasting no time. He is going to try to go up there and make a challenge for that lead. See a bit of side drafting going on. Spin the camera around and we see the number 5 car of Gary Whitmer Jr. on the tail end of Garrett Potts. That is the number 24 behind Gary Whitmer Jr. Garrett Potts slicing down to the inside lane. That will put him out front. Here comes Gary Whitmer Jr. to his outside with the help of Everett Lane and Lee Staples. Gary Whitmer Jr. getting a huge push from the number 24 car. He has almost cleared the 40, has cleared the 40, who will come down. That will put Gary Whitmer Jr. out in front now as we jump cars from the number 5, jump up over to the 24 of Everett Lane. Everett Lane being pushed on by Lee Staples. Garrett Potts doing a healthy dose of pushing on the number 5 of Gary Whitmer Jr. David Casey down there on the inside lane, currently in 3rd position. So after 71 of 100 laps, your current race leader, Gary Whitmer Jr., being pushed on by Garrett Potts, followed by Dave Acacia, Kevin Scott Nelson, Everett Lane, Lee Staples, John Rogers. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be back to go the rest of the way to the end of the race after this commercial brought to you by Blaze Pizza. Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Sorry about that. Needed to actually run both those commercials. Important to get word out there about PAD, PAD.org. People Against Distracted Driving. As we come back from our commercial break, Gary Whitmer Jr. is still out there leading. The number 40 of Garrett Potts is currently in second place. David Casey is still running in the number 3 position. Fighting for fourth, we have Kevin Scott Nelson and Everett Lane. Fighting for 5th and 6th position, you have the number 28 and the number 64 of John Rogers and Lee Staples. Now, I'm not quite sure what happened to Edward Bray, but I can tell you that Edward Bray is back in the race room and back out on the racetrack. Unfortunately, Edward Bray being shown 7 laps down. But Edward Bray is out there helping. Looks like he's trying to help the number 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. as he goes around Gary Whitmer Sr. That's a whole lot of cars right here. Number 16 coming up behind the 36. Quite a bit of movement there between the 16 and the 52. 52 going high and now coming low. Edward Bray down on the inside lane has Joel Guy behind him. Got a 6-car pack here. Jason Eisenhower in the number 36. Jason Eisenhower is still on the lead lap. He would be fighting for position with number 91 of Joel Guy. Now, just behind these cars, I'm going to jump up to blimp view because just behind this pack is the leaders. The leaders are coming. As you can see there, we have the leaders coming, and the lap down cars, or about to be lap down cars, are starting to work their way up to the high side. They will need to get there in a hurry as the leaders are coming. Number 52 car stuck down there on the bottom. He will need to find a way to get out of the leader's way in a hurry, or this could be an accident. Now the 52 does make his way up. Gary Whitmer Jr. finds his way underneath with the help of Garrett Potts. Garrett Potts all over the back bumper of the number 5. That does clutter things up ever so slightly. As we focus our cameras back on our leader. This brings all these cars back to just about one group here. Now, the interesting thing, Edward Bray must have had some sort of an issue connection-wise. He is back out on that racetrack, and believe it or not, Edward Bray has also found his dance partner. His teammate right in front of him, the number 64 of Lee Staples. With just 21 laps to go, there will be one more pit stop here at some point. Edward Bray has found his teammate. We'll find out if that will be a difference maker here in the end. Gary Whitmer Jr. still out there leading with Garrett Potts in tow. Dave Vicasi is sucking up to the back of the number 40 car. 40 car looks like he may want to duck to the outside and catch that draft. That push from the number 24 decides better if it stays down in line with the number 5. Gets the 5 back out in front. Outside lane just not as strong at this moment. Gary Whitmer Jr. still leading with just 18 laps to go. That outside lane of Everett Lane and John Rogers inching closer towards the front with very little help. Garrett Potts pushing very hard on the number 5, getting them out in front of everyone else by just a couple tenths of a second, but they have gotten that car hot. That is going to allow the outside lane of Everett Lane and John Rogers to climb up closer to the front. I believe the leaders all pitted around lap 58 to 60, so should be seeing them come in somewhere between now and lap 90 to 92. I would assume most of them will take a fuel only splash and go to get to the end. Gary Whitmer Jr. been out in front a lot tonight, has led 30 of 84 laps. Gary Whitmer Jr. hoping to get it done this evening. Garrett Potts continuing to push very hard on the number 5 car. Drifts up just a little bit. That allows the 24 to inch his way a little bit closer again. 24 now in a dead heat with the number 5 car. Number 24 has cleared the 5 car just barely, but he has cleared him. Not sure if he's still clear of him. Yes, he is. They are both going to take it down. That will put Everett Lane up front. John Rogers in second. Gary Whitmer falling back to third. Garrett Potts now in fourth. As we jump up to the blimp view, we have 7 cars on the lead lap. Lee Staples in that number 64 is the last car on the lead lap. Edward Bray is some laps down, but he is there to help his teammate in any way that he can. Then you have Joel Guy. Joel Guy just 1 lap down, along with the number 36 of Jason Eisenhower, just 1 lap down as well. With just 13 laps to go, the strategies are going through my head and trying to figure out who's going to do what and when they're going to do it. I would assume we're going to see most of these cars hit pit road at the last possible minute. They're going to use up every bit of fuel that they have and that they can. I would assume that most of them will try to stay with each other. Don't want a big breakaway. Don't want any big break of cars. Don't want to be the lone man out. Because we have a spinner and the caution is out. Caution flag is out. Go back and see if we can find out what happened there. See if we can get eyes on. It's all red car. Go ahead and back this up. Pause that. Jump to the 16 car. The 16 car was behind. Gonna get on that roof cam. Back this up. We're gonna spin the camera around. Gary Whitmer Sr. getting a piece of that yellow line, but he is off the racetrack, so not sure that that would have brought the caution out. Not seeing what would have brought the caution out, folks. We jump back live. This will give all of our leaders a chance to come down pit road, top off. Everett Lane showing in first position. He is going to bring it down pit road. Jump up to our blimp mode. See all these cars come onto pit road. John Rogers away already. Everett Lane away. Lee Staples, Gary Whitmer Jr. away. David Casey, Kevin Scott Nelson. We'll have to see how they cross the line. We'll have to give it a couple minutes to figure out who is exactly where, but we do know that Everett Lane and John Rogers came out first. I do believe it was the number 28 out first, and then yes, the 28 did make it out first, and then the car of Everett Lane came out second. We were setting up for green flag pit stops, and unfortunately a caution came out. I'm not sure, still not sure exactly why it came out. Just know that it did come out. Waiting for iRacing to update the standings, and then I will bring them up and show them to you. Currently showing 9 laps to go. Your race leader is John Rogers. To bring up the running order, we're showing John Rogers as your current race leader, Everett Lane in second, Lee Staples in third, Dave Acacia fourth, Gary Whitmer Jr. fifth, Kevin Scott Nelson sixth, Garrett Potts seventh, Joel Guy eighth, Jason Eisenhower ninth, Mitch Walter 10th, Gary Whitmer Sr. 3 laps down, Danny Rudy showing 5 laps down. Not sure if he is out there on that racetrack or not. Edward Bray 7 laps down. We know he's still out there. Just a few laps to go. Let's see if we can get in a quick chat with. Let's get a chat in with Everett Lane sitting in the second position. Everett Lane, this is Ron Klein up in the booth. You got a copy, sir?
I sure do, Ron. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well indeed. So what a disappointment there. Looked like we were setting up for our last set of green flag pit stops, and got a caution right as it was probably about to unfold. We couldn't actually determine what the caution flag was up here, but you and John Rogers have been working very well over the last few laps leading up to that caution flag. Now you're going to be on the outside of him. What can we expect in these last 7 or so laps?
Well, the KMA Demon Eye Chevy is running pretty good tonight. I taped it up this time. I only had 25% on before that pit, and so we taped her up 50%, and it's going to be a shootout here at the end. It's going to be exciting.
Now, copy that. A lot of fast cars still left on the lead lap. Joel Guy getting his lead lap, so we will technically have what I believe will be either 8 or 9 cars left on the lead lap. Saw you drop back a little bit earlier, and wasn't sure if it was intentional or not at first, but I do believe it was intentional. Saw you drop back and pick up Gary Whitmer Jr., and I'm not sure who the other car was, but was that intentional?
Oh, absolutely, Ron. I went back there and picked up my buddy Gary. He's a good teammate, good KMA racer. I love racing with him up here on these super speedways. So yeah, I told him I'd come back here and make it a 3-car race, and we drove right back up to the lead pack.
You sure did. You guys made quick work of it. They were kind of swapping around up front, which really helped your cause out. I knew you guys would catch them. Didn't think you guys would catch them that fast. Talk to me about the end of the race here.
Well, we're getting ready to go green here, and just hope we get a good pusher behind me on that lap 99, so we can bring it to the finish line.
Copy that. Well, all the best of luck to you in the world, and hope to talk to you here in a few minutes.
10-4, Ron. Thanks, buddy.
All right, Everett Lane out there on that outside lane. Let's go ahead and jump up on top the roof cam on his car. We're going to be taken off beside the number 28 car. 28 car has Lee Staples pushing on the back of him. Dave Acacia will be pushing on the back of the 24. This is where it will get intense, folks. The gloves are off. It's time to go. 7 laps to go. There won't be a lot of patience. 28 gets out just a little bit on the 24 as we swing the camera back around. We see the number 5 car trying to get as close to that back bumper of the 64 without actually being on that bumper. Not something you want to do. The number 20 Dave Acacia is staying very close to the back bumper of Everett Lane. This is going to be a good run here for the number 24. 24 getting a good run on the outside lane, stalling out just a little bit. Kevin Scott Nelson, Dave Acacia, teammates, thinking they probably gonna stick together to the end. With just 6 laps to go, we'll be coming to 5 to go. Not a lot of room for anybody to go anywhere. Gary Whitmer Jr. stuck down on that inside lane, as well as Lee Staples. Garrett Potts sitting back there, the 7th car, can pick and choose which lane he wants to go with. Neither lane really prevailing right now at this time. Looks like Everett Lane has his nose out in front as the 28 starts to fight back on the inside. We are on 5 to go, coming to 4 to go. No one can seem to make any real headway on either lane. The number 20 getting a little bit squirrely. 224 getting a little bit squirrely as well. Everett Lane having a nose possibly out in front right there. John Rogers was still being shown. Oh, as we see smoke. Not sure which car it was, but no caution. Car down on the inside on the apron. No caution flag. Hopefully he will get it up off the track and not bring the caution out. Definitely do not want to end the race this way, as Everett Lane finds himself down on that inside lane. Has himself a pusher in the number 28 now. David Casey, Kevin Scott Nelson working that outside lane. It is 2 versus 4. Gary Whitmer, the last car there in line, gonna have to make a decision if he's gonna want to stay on that inside lane or take it to the outside. John Rogers pushing very hard. We've seen this move from John before. John will try to get as big of a push on the number 24 as he possibly can. Clear that outside lane and then take it to the outside. 3 to go. We are on 3 to go, coming to 2 to go. John Rogers almost was clear, thought about taking it up there, decided not to. We are on 2 to go. Oh, and we have problems. This is going to really slow the back of the field up. There's going to be a caution flag. This is going to end the race. I do believe there are cars everywhere. Caution is out. Your winner is going to be Everett Lane. We're going to go ahead and back that up now. Alrighty, we are on the rooftop of Edward Bray, and we are already in the mix. We are already in the mess of this. Let's back it up a little more. And we are going to jump up to the car of Gary Whitmer Jr. We're going to slow it down as we enter the corner here. They were checking up. Got all kinds of sideways. Then the 20 and the 224 get together. The 40 goes up the racetrack. 66 is involved. Joel Guy getting every bit of Edward Bray on that one. Gary Whitmer Jr. skating by with probably minimal damage. 64, as you can see, he's got a little damage to the rear of his car. That will end the race as we sit with what looks to be Gary Whitmer Jr. riding in 3rd position right now. Not positive if that is correct. Checkered flag being displayed for Everett Lane. John Rogers crossing the start-finish line in 2nd place. Gary Whitmer Jr. crossing the line in 3rd. We'll wait just a moment to make sure that that is the official results as we jump back to Dave Acacia. Dave Acacia was caught up in that incident, so yes, that these are more than likely the correct results. Not the way we want to end the race, that's for sure, folks, but the white knuckle time was there. It was time to go. Riding around with Gary Whitmer Jr. as they come back to the start finish line, and we will get our interviews in with Gary Whitmer Jr. and the car of John Rogers and Everett Lane. So let's go ahead and drag those folks up into the room. Gary Whitmer Jr., this is Ron Klein up in the booth. You got a copy, sir?
I got you, Ronald.
Alrighty. Obviously, probably not the way that we wanted it to end. Looked like some really hard racing going on there, right there towards the end of the race. Talk to me about the last few laps.
Yeah, the last few laps, I was just trying to get Lee Staples up there and just didn't have enough time. I think Lee got the EOL because he thought he caused that caution and had sent it to the end of the line, and it put me in third, so I shouldn't be here. It should be Lee Staples, third place.
Copy that. Now, I can only go off of what I'm being shown, and it did show you in third place, but thank you for that information. You ran up front most of the night tonight, and had a shot there at the end, but it looked like you were boxed in with really nowhere to go.
Yeah, I was just trying to get that bottom lane moving. I felt if I could get the bottom lane moving, get me up in the second lane in front, then I might have somewhere to go.
Copy that. Talk to me real quick about the Gearhead Paint Shop KMA Racing KMA TV paint job with the purple rims.
Yeah, this is a paint put up by Tim Emmenhauser for KMA TV and KMA Racing. Running the purple rims and support a pad in the Nikki Kalini Foundation.
Copy that. Why don't you talk to me real quick about PAD, because you are what seems to be one of the biggest supporters of PAD out here.
Yeah, PAD is People Against Distracted Driving. It's the founders, Mike Kalini. They're sharing the word, the dangers of distracted driving. He lost his daughter at the age of 18 because of distracted driving.
Copy that. Well, I guess I don't really have much else for you. Great race tonight. Unfortunate for Lee Staples for possibly claiming a caution that wasn't his. For those that don't understand that, we don't talk about much of that on the broadcast. If you cause an incident, we ask you to own it, and you'll get an EOL penalty, which is an end-of-line penalty. So Gary Whitmer Jr. stating that he did not believe that that Lee Staples was in the wrong, and Gary should not have finished third. Very gracious of you, sir. Congratulations on a good night. I guess I just won't say where you finished because it shows you in third, but maybe you didn't. But congratulations on a great finish.
Yeah, thanks, Ronald, and give a shout out to the guys that ran up front with me as well. A real good job tonight.
Copy that. Alrighty. Well, I appreciate your time, sir, and once again, congratulations on a good finish.
Yeah, thanks, Ronald.
Alrighty, and I do not have radio comms at the moment with our second place finisher, John Rogers. So that takes me to our race winner, Everett Fast Lane.
Yeah, we had a good night tonight there, Ron. Yeah, like I said, those Demon Eyes Chevy ran fast tonight. It's a lot of fun to race over here at KMA, man. It's so much fun to race these super speedways. I mean, I think we only had 2 cautions and then that late caution, but good racing tonight by everybody.
Copy that. Well, talk to me about the last few laps, because I was talking about it on the broadcast that it was white knuckle time, it was go time, the gloves were going to come off, and it was so close. I couldn't even tell you exactly what happened back there, but talk to me about how you got to the front, and did you feel like if we stayed green that you were in the right place?
Yeah, I wanted to be in that high spot. When I came out of the pit, I was pretty happy that I was up in that second lane. And that Dave 20 car, he gave me some good push in there. And I know if I could get low, like I said, I taped it up pretty good there, 50% there. If I could get low, I think I could hold him off the top line. But, good running. Dave pushed me up there to that front. And John, he raced me nice and clean there at the end. It was a good finish for that Demon Eye KMA Chevy car tonight.
Copy that. You don't have your car out there right now, so I can't actually focus on you. But talk to me real quick about well, anything you want to talk about. Any shout outs or anything you want to do before we wrap this up?
I just want to tell you, great job up there in the announcing booth. I don't see your buddy Scott there tonight, but you did a great job by yourself. And like I said, I love coming over here racing these super speedways with KMA. I wish they would get back into doing a little bit more of them. I think the last time I ran one was the pad race with the truck, and I won that. So doing pretty good. You guys run these super speedways. I seem to be up front and stay out of trouble and bring it to victory lane.
Copy that. Well, congratulations on our first place finish tonight. Enjoy having you up here in the booth during the race, and always enjoy interviewing you afterwards. So, congratulations on the victory tonight.
Hey, thank you very much, Ron.
Alrighty. Thank you very much, sir, and we'll see you next time.
10-4, buddy. Good job tonight.
Thank you. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up here at Daytona International Speedway. We're going to flash up the running. Oops, excuse me. I pressed the wrong button there. We are going to flash the results, which are right here. Only one caution early in the race, and then we had a couple cautions there at the end. Hate for the race to finish under caution. Not something we like to see happen, but it does. Great racing tonight. Want to thank all the fans out there for watching. Thank all the drivers for coming out and racing with us. And on behalf of KMA TV, KMA Racing, and RTK Motorsports, I'm Ronald Klein. I want to say thank you, and we'll see you next time.